Live from the Federal Capital Territory here in Abuja. I still have Babajide Kolade Otutoju with me, and Femi Akonde will be joining us. Femi Akonde, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It feels good to be here.
All right. Jide, Abdullahi Kanduje, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, is saying that, look, you need to put your house in order.
It's not Abdullahi Kanduje. Tajuddin Abbas.
Oh, Tajuddin Abbas, sorry. Sorry.
Yes, there's a pressing need to do that. APC is very much divided now. There are so many aggrieved persons. Yes, after every election, we see bitter people. People feel shortchanged.
Yep.
You know, showing their anger. But it's been worsened by the fact that in the aftermath of the election and the enthronement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, many people work for the party are watching those who did not work for the party. Those who in fact even worked against the party. They are seeing
an opposition party.
Yes, they are seeing them being rewarded with appointments, and you are saying people won't be aggrieved. They will be aggrieved. Look at what happened during the weekend. Boards of tertiary institutions were constituted. You know, ASU was threatening to go on strike if the governing councils of universities were not
contest with 3 professors in the Senate.
Yes, but you now advertised, so they got angry, and the rest is history. But what we have is a situation in which Adamawa State, where Mr. President lost in the election, where APC lost all the elections, produced 32 members into the governing councils of universities, colleges of education, and polytechnics. You now have a state like Niger having between 6 to 7, and Niger in the north central, Niger did extremely well for the president.
Yes, Niger Kogi.
Mr. President won 5 out of the 6 states of north central, with Niger playing a key part. They will get 6 to 7 members, and a state where the president didn't manage to win election will be producing 32. Sometimes I ask, who are the people helping Mr. President to appoint people to position? Because it's not possible for the president to know everybody.
Yes,
he has to delegate these things.
Yes.
But a lot of the people helping Mr. President in this regard, they are extremely selfish and
They are not
shameless.
taking these factors into consideration
At all. Whereas these factors, when an election, when we get to another electoral cycle, these factors will come to play. People will ask,
people that
how did you treat me
in their presidential committee?
Yes,
a very big one, and
yes,
large.
And some spent their money.
Yes,
some sold their houses. They didn't take money from Mr. President. Because the truth is, as president, you can't share money to every party member that deserves to be rewarded. It is things like this. When you give me an appointment such as this, I can also help some of the people under me, some of my own constituents. You get the point that I'm making? That's the nature of politics. But if they cannot get anything, and PDP members are getting things, those who worked against the party, who mocked them, those who intimidated them, they are getting things. Look at Zamfara, for example. It was only Zamfara and Jigawa that Mr. President won out of the 7 states in the northwest. What did they get? Using this example, this governing board, how many people were nominated from? My feeling is that when they come up with this list, Mr. President should, by now, you should have a group
People assisting him.
Yes, you say, okay, let's look at this list. Because if you leave a minister and the people in the ministry that is superintendent, they will put their people. That's what we are saying with Adamana. This is shameful. One state, 32 persons. And the people who are nominated in the other groups, because there are groups, there are blocks that supported the president that also nominated people that they were allotted to nominate into these positions. They
sidelined
the nominees that they brought, they pushed those ones aside and put their. We are an extremely selfish people in this country.
Femi, we monitored the campaigns, we saw the players, we saw everything. At the end of the day, we discovered that it's not all those people that were active during the campaign and everything that are being rewarded. Some situation you see, some states, some people that contested under the platform of the People's Democratic Party taking positions.
I think the APC would need to fix its reward system, and is also for Mr. President and National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, including the party chairman, to pay attention to all of these things, because we have members of the All Progressives Congress, like you rightly mentioned, who are out there in the cold. A lot of them worked really hard, and you know that when the 2020, so when campaigns for the 2027 election starts again, these are the same people you will fall back on to go and campaign for you. These are the people who can make good political decisions. The All Progressives Congress, and indeed for President, the All Progressives Congress, and indeed for President Bola Tinubu, because you know most of these people who have been rewarded are those who are not ready to even who are not ready to sacrifice or to go all out for their party. We saw in 2027 election how lackadaisical a lot of them were refusing to campaign because they did not even believe in the project in the first place. Yes. A lot of them believed in another candidates, but here we have it. They are the ones being rewarded, being compensated for even going contrary to the president's campaign goals, aspirations, and all of that. So it's really a big problem. You know, if you talk to people in the APC, you hear them complain really bitterly, and it appears as if they really don't have that platform to also ventilate and
to reach out to
Mr. President to hear really what their grievances are.
Ade is calling us from London. Thank you for joining us, Ade.
Yes, AY.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you to everyone there. Prince, Omaba Kiberu, thank you for telling the truth.
Thank you, sir.
Those who work for the president, look at that man from Ekiti, who started 2 years before the president is here, going about, I forgot his name.
Prince Diane, I remember, Swagger.
The man went all over Nigeria. What if he died on the trip? Nobody, they didn't give him any appointment. Faleke is there, no appointment. And because New Ribadu is from Adamawa, is at 132 there. President is not the fault of the president. He doesn't know anything about this thing. Those who are doing it is the chief of staff and others.
Oh, no. Abi, we will not allow you to use our platform to malign anybody. You cannot substantiate that. Ade, take that back. Ade, sorry. I won't give you this platform to do that. Abba.
No, it's not. You see, the thing is, people are angry. People are angry, no doubt. You cannot deny. No one can say no, Ribadu didn't work for Asiwaju. Yes. No one can also say he worked harder than every other person. I don't think that this is purely this what happened with Adama having 32 in the years. I don't think the Minister of Education is from Adama.
Yeah, it's not his own making. It's not the making of one
minister,
person.
and it is his ministry that was mandated to prepare this list.
Okay.
Yes. So maybe he does not even know that the minister has greater stake in this than no Ribadu. So this is not purely I not agree that it's no Ribadu. The minister Minister of Education is from Adama,
so
and they were told to produce this list. But they were supposed to work with other people. I know, and I have information that other groups, other subgroups contributed names. But at the end of the day, they removed the bulk of the names, more than 3/4 of the names submitted by one of the groups, and just took a fraction.
So
this is, you know, this is not the only case. We've seen
it's
before
a general
now,
thing. Yes.
We've seen before now people complaining. Look at those women. They even went to APC secretariat. Women, they went to complain. You know, so there's a need for a ruling party confronted by this sort of this kind of problem to look at how it can work hard.
There's still time
to ensure that this sort of, there are still other boards.
Yes.
What should not happen is for this trend to continue. If this trend continues, it is the president that will be blamed, not the people helping him to put names together. So the president must also, as I suggested, when they submit the list, don't simply approve the list. Get others to use a fine-tooth comb to look at the thing, so that this lopsidedness in favor of a state where the APC was well defeated will not happen.
Roundly defeated.
Well defeated, not 53. Governor.
It was on ground.
Atiku won the presidential election.
Presidential
So why should they be rewarded?
All the three senatorial districts.
What is the
attraction?
They don't even on your states.
Yes.
Some are complaining.
Did well on those states. They did well.
In terms of percentage, in the southwest, Ondo recorded the highest percentage victory for APC in this last election.
Why are there people in the federal cabinet? Well, Femi, okay. Isaiah is calling us from Plateau State. Oh, we lost Isaiah. Now, when you look at it, this also happened during the time of former President Muhammadu Buhari, and a lot of people waited for 8 years. They weren't compensated. We had a situation whereby even some members of the opposition party remained in those boards, and those vacancies were never filled.
It was even worse under former President Muhammadu Buhari, because, like you said, a lot of people were not changed. Some people were even forgotten. They even forgot about some appointments. People whose appointments had expired, their tenure had ended, and a new head of agency or parastatal was to be appointed. They were just left to continue occupying that office. And
even the president's wife then complained.
Yes, you know.
Now, why did we work hard to win election only for just a few individuals, about 2 or 3 individuals?
You know, thankfully, a lot of people had hopes because President Bola Tinubu is, I would say, a politician who,
he understands everybody,
he understands the game. So the expectations were high, but not all of that has been met. I must say,
you can't feel everybody.
You need to trust people.
So I think the problem is the people he is trusting to get the job done.
Joshua is calling us from Jos. Thank you for joining us, Josh.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Ayo, Mr. Dele, well done.
All right, go ahead, please.
Well done, you are doing a very good job. I say, okay, I have another perception towards that. Could it be that they are using that to persuade other states who didn't vote APC?
No. Okay, Joshua is asking, is that a strategy to turn woo people from the opposition?
No.
Ahead of next election.
A strategy that will weaken your own base while you are trying to get new friends. It's not a sensible strategy. People are complaining. Oyo, in the southwest, Oyo contributed more votes to Mr. President than most of the southwest states. More votes, they got more votes there. Mr. President won there. He even lost in his home state of Lagos. So you cannot, in an attempt to please or woo new friends, now unwittingly hurt your staunch loyalists. That kind of thing, the blowback will be bad. The blowback for the party. So Ganduje has a lot of work to do, and individuals are also quarreling among themselves. In Delta State, they are quarreling among themselves. In Zamfara, look at what is going on between Sani Jeji and Matawale. They are suspending one another, using their supporters to suspend one another.
That cancelling
If
was
you can
just-
suspend me in my word, I will use other people to suspend you in your word. That's what they are doing to one another. An election has not come.
Funny, this might have a kind of ripple effect even in states like Edo and Ondo states, where we're expecting to, to have governorship election. That on the party, it might tell on the party.
Yes, indeed, it will tell on the party, but I think one thing the party will also not play with is that in spite of all that is going on, all the bickering, when it comes to elections, they know how to quickly put their house in order and just ensure that they go to the poll as one united and indivisible whole, just for the sake of the election. After that, they continue the bickering. We can see even in Ondo, Edo, the primary elections, after the primary election, there are still issues, but they've been able to as in a way paper over the cracks just for the sake of the election, because they understand that victory is important. But for how long will they continue to manage and paper over these cracks? One day it will implode.
Remember PDP?
Calling me to say no, that they shouldn't have mentioned no, that no is not the one that.
You corrected it.
Yes,
you corrected it.
so
You corrected
I'm getting
it.
messages.
It was the caller.
Yes.
I reprimanded the caller. You corrected it. And when you want to say that, okay, ultimately the PDP, they deluded themselves that time that 60 years got short to 60 years. So APC, they might be saying that look, we are going to be there forever. Unfortunately, if they are insensitive to the plight of their members.
I've said it many times before that if not for the disunity, the quarrel between the PDP, within the PDP, APC would not have won in 2015. PDP lost 5 governors over the fear that the incumbent leadership of the party didn't want to allow for a level playing field. They wanted Jonathan to win the primaries by all means. And for the first time in Africa, the ruling party, they worked out on the sitting president. So that's how it happened. You will see what happened in Benue. Tom was in the APC. He defected at the last minute and won for APC. He was in the PDP. In Kebbi, the current minister of budget and planning, Atiku Bagudu, also in anger that they didn't want him to win primaries, moved to the APC at the last minute. He also won in the state. So there were many states like that where the division in the PDP enabled the APC to win in 2015. So if this continues, it's a very predictable outcome. The leader of the party, the president, and Dr. Umar Ganduje, the national chairman of the party, they have a lot of work to do. If you sound out the APC members, a good number of them are very angry.
They are very angry. They're still at home.
APC members are experts at working for the opposition.
Working against the party.
Yes, even they will do it and be proud about it. Somebody like, remember what your friend Senator Marafa? He took his own party to court. The party lost. His party lost. And he came on a TV station to say, yes, I decided to do it. I even told the president before doing it. I've never seen anything like that.
All right, and finally, as workers eagerly await announcement of the new minimum wage, organized labor appears unyielding in its demand for 615,000 naira after rejecting the proposal of 48,000 naira from government and 54,000 naira from organized private sector. Ahead of the meeting with the tripartite committee, labor leaders told government to perish the idea of offering 100,000 naira as the new minimum wage. Organized labor also asked government to be serious with their negotiations, as it is expected to raise the bars of their proposal during negotiation. Femi, both from this side 615,000 naira, and from that side 48,000 naira.
I think the most bad thing is for them to find a middle ground. The federal government will always tell us that the economy as we have it is not that buoyant. They will tell us that they inherited a very bad economy, and then they are putting a lot of things in place to ensure that the economy gets back on its feet, and would want Labour to show understanding. But Labour too will tell you that, well, what their demands are a reflection of
reality.
Yeah, the realities on ground, what the people are talking about, the inflation and all of that. Yes, the inflation, you know, the prices of electricity, band A has gone up for those who are on band A, and those who are band S not even
20 hours a day.
Yes, those who do not even have bands cannot even get electricity to power their small businesses and all of that. So it's really a tight rope to walk for both the federal government and indeed organized labor. So it's going to be interesting to see how, if the federal government will budge and maybe move up a bit, and Labour, you know, of course, they raised the bar to 615. We know that it's just for them to see somewhere that the federal government will be able to feel comfortable with providing that amount as minimum wage, maybe 200,000.
Jude, I'm not comfortable with the two proposals on ground. 615,000 and 48,000 naira sounding ridiculous to me.
Yes, for me too, I don't see how the government can pay that kind of money, and I'm sure in their hearts they know that 615,000 minimum wage. Some states are still not paid 30. Remember what happened now when NLC appealed to the governor of Abia State to please pay 30.
Yes.
The old minimum wage.
The old minimum wage.
Some states are still paying
that 18,000.
18,000. What some states are still paying.
Yes.
Now, the consequential awards, every minimum wage ensures that even the people on level 16, level 17, that the minimum wage is not about. The minimum wage is usually about level 1 to 7 max. They all get some money on top of their salary. Everybody will get
consequential adjustments.
Yes, everybody will get, because if they don't give people, those juniors will end up earning the same salary as their seniors. Yes. So you move everybody. So, but it's by percentage. For example, the highest earning people in the civil service, they will get the lowest percentage in the consequential adjustment. They can say, okay, we give you 4% of your salary, or, you know, because you are level 17.
Yes.
As you go down, the percentage goes up.
Yes.
You understand? So it's not, we can't be looking at 615 alone. The consequence of paying 615 will be so huge.
That means that telling level 01, 615 up.
Yes. And you must adjust everybody's salary.
Yes.
So that they don't meet them.
No.
So 615 is unreasonable. Nobody will pay. They can call me names because I'm saying this.
Who will pay?
But nobody will pay. Now, the chairman of the negotiating committee has already said, Labour, be prepared to shift ground.
Okay.
Because the federal government too, that is representing even subnationals, is prepared to shift ground. Look at what we had the last time they met. The federal government said it will pay 58,000. Organized private sector said it will pay 54. How do you get a man? And I doubt if the NLC president can pay his lowest earning personal staff as much as 618,000. He cannot pay it. That means your security man in your house, that's what you earn.
680.
Your gardener, that's what you earn.
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage. Because it's supposed to be backed by law. Can we come up with a law that says everybody, the lowest earning person in the civil service must earn 615,000? TUC actually came up with a moderated salary of 400, I think 400,000. By the time they met with Ajero and his group, they said, okay, we are harmonized. We too, we are going for 615. He can't work now. He can't work.
Tell me, 100,000 naira, how realistic is this?
Well, that's for the...
Already Labour, they've rejected 100,000 naira.
Yeah, they've rejected 100,000 naira. But you know, that is what is presented by the federal government. Maybe the federal government too might shift grant if it looks inward, looks at its pulse, looks at the projections.
Do you see some states paying 100,000 naira, having that ability, because it's not about federal government alone now. Well, there are some very poor states.
Understandably, there are some very poor states, but also resources allocations going to states have also increased recently. Not all of them would want to openly admit that they are getting more monies now.
Removal of subsidy.
Yeah, it's just for everyone to come clean and say, see, this is what I can pay. Open your books. This is what comes in. This is how much we get as revenue and all of that. And based on all of these calculations, this is what we can afford as a minimum wage. If we have that understanding, and indeed if the labor unions in their state also are on the same page with them, then there will be no need for the back and forth.
Looking at what a bag of rice is saying now, when you go to markets, do you know that it's very difficult for anybody to go to the market with 20,000 naira? And if you're a family person and you bring something appreciable home with 20,000 naira right now,
I believe our minimum wage should be able to buy 2 bags of rice at least.
Our minimum
if you can't buy,
what are we doing now?
If you can't buy
30,000.
The minimum wage, 30,000 minimum wage cannot buy a bag of rice. And I'm saying that
a bag of rice is like 70,000 now.
No. It's well, it depends on where you are buying from, the brand.
Okay.
There are some Nigerian made rice, especially brands like Bull. They are far costlier than others. When you even go into a department store or a mall, you see the different brands, the same kg, but they cost more than one another. So it's difficult to benchmark to say this is the average price. It's difficult. But I'm saying that it should be able to buy, the minimum wage should be able to buy 2 bags of rice. So let's even say rice is around 60k. The minimum wage should be able to buy 2 bags. That's like 120,000 naira. Wow. That is my view. 2 bags of rice. Let's say a bag of rice on the average is 60k. So at least 120,000.
Okay, let's take our last caller. Adekule is calling us from Abuja. Thank you, Kule.
Yeah.
Thank you for waiting.
Good afternoon, Mr. Yo. Mr. Ambassador, good afternoon. Thanks for all you do. Let me quickly say something about this appointment of a team. You know, when Mr. Ambassador was saying the that time, was talking about PNB. People can actually forgive PNB because we all agree that it's not the politician. But may I tell you one thing, that will be punished if we didn't address it, because everybody believes that Bat is a politician and he knows the game. So if he continues with this, people will intentionally punish him for that because they believe that he did it to them intentionally. And to come to think of it, President Bat appointed his people as chief of staff. The private secretary also, I think Mbungo Kola, is also his own person. So let's assume that President doesn't know what is going on. Are we saying that these people also cannot sit down and do what is going to be beneficial to President Bat, that is not going to tarnish his image as a politician? I don't want to believe that in the
Thank you, Thank you for your contribution. So, Femi, looking at this, who is going to move? Who will shift ground?
I think both of them will shift ground. I may be wrong, but I believe both of them should be flexible and ready to shift ground. Labour would have to shift more to come to reality with what is obtainable, what the federal government can afford based on what they have in their coffers.
Julia?
As I said,
2 times the minimum wage.
Yes, the minimum wage should be able to buy 2 bags of rice.
2 bags of rice, 120, 130.
On the average now, maybe 60, 65 a bag of rice.
Okay,
So I'm not talking about the Bull brand that is much more expensive and all that. So
above 100,000.
above 100,000, maybe 120, 150.
Okay.
Or maximum 150.
All right. I want to thank you, Femi Akonde. Thank you for your contribution. And the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Thank you for always being there.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's our offering today. Join us